Hi friends, we're going to be starting our new weekly story, Jellies, the life of a jellyfish today. We're going to be talking about our vocabulary in this video and our high frequency words. So make sure for later on in the video that you have paper and something to write with to do our triggers, okay? So let's start with our high frequency words. All right, so our high frequency words for the story are really, because, better, go, me, old, right, they, was, and you. Okay, so remember these words are words that you want to be able to read in a snap because you can't always sound out these words. So you can put them on flashcards to practice them or any other skill that you, any other way that works for you to practice them, but these are words you just have to learn to recognize really quickly because they are used very often. Alright, so let's start with our vocabulary words. Our first vocabulary word is millions. It looks like this shark has millions of teeth, but it really only has a few dozen. Okay, so our motion for millions. So millions is a really large number, right? So you're going to go large, you can say big, stretch your hands, big number. Now this you might recognize as maybe a hashtag, but this is also known, it's a symbol for number, those cross things. So that's how we're going to say number. So millions, large number. Okay, so that's what millions is. Choices. Visitors at the aquarium have many choices of things to see. Choices. So our motion for choices is you're going to say this or that, because choices are when you get to choose between multiple things. So choices, this or that. So you have millions, large number, and choices, this or that. Number 3 is drift. This clever otter will not drift or float away. Okay, and that kind of gave us a clue what it means in this sentence where it says or float. So drifting is just kind of floating along. Okay, so this clever otter will not drift or float away. Ready? Drift. It's kind of like you're floating. Drift. So you have millions, large number, choices, this or that, and drift. Number 4 is simple. Dolphins make jumping out of the ocean look simple and easy. So simple is, it's like it says, it's easy. It's not complicated. So we're going to go simple because you're kind of brushing it off. You're like, it's not hard. So simple, not complicated. Ready? So simple, not complicated. Okay? So we have millions, large number, choices, this or that, drift, and simple, not complicated. All right, number 5 is weaker. One of these crab claws is weaker than the other. It is not very strong. Okay, so we've had strong and muscles in another one. I don't think we had tough. But we've had muscles and things like that before. But this is weaker. It is not very strong. So this one might be kind of funny for you. But for weaker, you're going to go, pretend you have muscles, but then go, because it's weaker. Ready? Weaker. Because it's not very strong. Ready? Weaker. All right, so your first word is millions, large number, choices, this or that, drift, simple, not complicated, and weaker. Kind of like that one. Number 6 is wrapped. The octopus wrapped its strong tentacles around its prey. So you're gonna wrap your hands around yourself, kind of like you're giving yourself a hug, but you're ready, wrapped. Because it goes around, wrapped. So we have millions, excuse me, large number, choices, this or that, drift, simple, not complicated, weaker, and wrapped. Number 7 is disgusting. Yuck! The litter around the trash can smells disgusting. Disgusting, you're gonna pinch your nose and just make a scrunched face because it's disgusting. It's yucky, it's gross, it's disgusting. So just make a gross face. Disgusting. So you have millions, large number, choices, this or that, drift, simple, not complicated, weaker, wrapped, and disgusting. Gross. All right, so your last one is decide. Is this a starfish or a crab? You decide. Now, when you decide something, you make up with your mind. So you're going to make up with your mind and say, yes, you decide that. So we're just going to focus on the mind part of things. So to decide, make up with your mind. You can put a lot of words with that one because it's a little trickier to have emotion with this. So decide, make up with your mind. All right? So you have millions, large number. You have choices, this or that. You have drift. You have simple, not complicated. You have weaker. You have wrapped. You have disgusting. And you have decide. So sorry. Make up with your mind. Decide. Make up with your mind. Okay, so when you're reading our story, listening to the read aloud or rereading it, think about those words, see if you can remember the motions while you do them. So let's just review what those vocabulary words really mean. So simple, just like with our motion, it's easy, it's not complicated. Okay, something simple, it's not complicated, it's not too difficult, it's simple. Millions, a very large number. Weaker is less strong than something else. Drift, float around. Wrapped is covered. Disgusting is sickening or gross or yucky. Choices are decisions. So this or that. Decide is to make up your mind about. Okay? So now it's time to go through and do our vocabulary triggers. So grab your piece of paper and your marker, pencil, pen, whatever, and then fold your paper just like we always do so that you have 8 sections, 4 on each side. Okay, and then you're going to open it back up so you have those 4 boxes just like we've done many times before. Which is great. All right, so we're going to just start with our millions. So let's put millions in our first box. All right, and we're going to do a new trigger, but it's not too complicated, but it's what's called symbol, a symbol for something. So think about how a dollar sign, like if you have that S with the line through, it's like a symbol for dollars, dollar sign. So it's kind of like that. So for million, there's 2 symbols we're going to do. We're going to do mil because that's an abbreviation, just kind of like a symbol. And we're going to write a million, a couple different numbers in the millions because it's millions, okay? So there's million. And then let's do 5 million because that's multiple millions. So those are your symbols. We've used numbers to represent this word. It's not too hard of a new trigger to be learning. All right, your next word is choices. Okay, we're going to do kind of some questions and things like that. So you could say, just like we did, this or that. Those are choices. Yes or no. Good or bad. And I'll do one because Christmas is coming up soon. Naughty or nice. So these are all examples. So that's what I should have put. Examples. It's our trigger of choices. This or that. Yes or no. Good or bad. Naughty or nice. So those are choices or examples of choices. All right, for drift, we're going to do one of my favorite triggers. We're going to do an acrostic. Remember, that one is like a poem. And if you have a different color to write your main word in a different color, it's always a good idea so you can really clearly see the vocabulary word that you're working with. So writing drift in a different color. All right, so thinking of some words that I can put with danger or with drift. And again, you're always welcome to put your own as long as they make sense to our vocabulary word. And for the D, actually what I started to say, dangerous would work because if someone would drift away, that's really dangerous if you're drifting away in the ocean or drifting away in a river. You're not where you're safe or where you're with other people. That could be really dangerous. So same for animals. Like if that otter from our cards had drifted away from where it was safe, it could get could be eaten by a predator or just get hurt. So it's very dangerous. Okay? I can do a direction, so you can drift right. Use my R for right, as in right or left. If you're drifting, you might be swimming because you drift in water, so you can also swim in that water. Drifting is another kind of word, a synonym for float. And something that's in water that could potentially drift is a boat. Again, you're always welcome to put some other ones in there as long as you can make it make sense to connect to the word drift, to justify it. All right, for simple, we're going to do an analogy. So maybe not one of our more simple triggers. So remember, that is where we have our bridge map. Okay? So we're going to say simple is to easy. So simple means the same as easy. As hard is to complicated. All right? So you could put something that you think is simple versus something that you think is hard. So for example, I might say simple is to something that I think is simple. I guess because I've been in school a long time and I've been reading and writing a long time, I think maybe writing is simple because I do it a lot and I think I can do it pretty well without necessarily thinking about it. So yours can be something completely different. You could think maybe playing tag is really simple or brushing your teeth is really simple because you might not think writing is very simple yet because you're still learning. So for me, this is for me, simple is to writing, as hard is to, I'm going to say playing the ukulele because I'm currently trying to learn how to do that and it's very tricky. I'm still working. I guess I saw that right. So simple is to writing. I think I can write pretty well. As hard is to playing the ukulele because that's something that I think is hard. Okay? Again, yours should be different than mine because I don't think you guys are learning to, or maybe some of you are, but learning to play the ukulele and writing might not be simple for you. Maybe you want to write neater. Maybe you want to learn cursive, things like that. All right, flipping over to our other side. We're going to start with weaker. All right, and we're going to do antonyms. Okay, so antonyms, that's our trigger, are words that are opposite. So I'm going to go ahead and put that as well to help you remember. So antonyms are opposite. So words that mean the opposite of weak or weaker. So thinking, okay, strong. Thinking healthy. Thinking hard or tough. Remember our word tough. This one like this. Thinking sturdy. That's a word for really secure, if something's really sturdy and it's strong and secure. If you have a shelf on the wall and it's really sturdy, it's strong, it's secure, it's not going to fall off the wall. And I'm going to put brains because I think our brains and your brains are very strong and getting stronger with our growth mindset. So I think they're the opposite of weaker, for sure. All right, for wrapped, we're going to do a sketch. I'm sure you like those. And because of kind of the holiday season, we're going to draw a present because you wrap presents at this time of year and they're completely covered and they're curled up and enclosed in that paper. So it works for our word as well. So you're just going to draw a present that is wrapped. I'm going to add some ribbons to mine. We like a little bow. I did do that, super neat. So you can draw and color in your present however you want. Probably a bit not quite as messy as mine, quickly. Okay, so this is our present because it's wrapped. The present is wrapped in that paper. Okay, so we only have two more words. So you have disgusting, and we are going to do examples and non-examples. So we're just going to do a T-chart. So examples of things that we think are disgusting and non-examples. So things we think are not disgusting. All right, so thinking of examples like trash. I think trash is pretty disgusting. A rotten apple. Those are really gross. Skunks are kind of disgusting. I think skunks are cute, but their smell is disgusting. Dirty sock. Dirty socks or laundry. Make sure you're cleaning that stuff up. I think that's disgusting. Let's think of some non-examples, things that are not disgusting, things we don't think are gross. I think flowers are not disgusting. I think they're gorgeous and they smell really good. I think breakfast is really delicious and not disgusting. You can have waffles and pancakes and cereal and all sorts of good things. Shampoo, because you're clean and it smells good. So shampoo is definitely not disgusting. And I would say candles. I love candles. Candles are not disgusting because they smell so good and they make the area smell good as well. So you can add whatever you want to these lists. You can add more disgusting things, or you can add more things that you don't think are disgusting, so non-examples, which kind of are as well our antonyms, right? So our opposites, because flowers are the opposite of disgusting in meaning, but they're not quite an antonym. All right, so our last word is decide. All right, and we're going to do an acrostic with this as well because I really like acrostics. I think they're a great skill to really stretch our brains. So we're going to do decide. All right, so again, I'm writing that word in that other color so it's nice and clear that that's our vocabulary word. So to decide is to make a decision. So for our first word, you're going to write decision. You might decide where you're going to travel. So you could see the world. You could see where you're going to go. So travel. A decision is a choice. To decide is to make a choice. Going back to our other vocabulary words. Speaking of our other vocabulary words, so thinking of the questions and the examples of choices, I can think of another one with another holiday that could kind of fit. Trick or treat. So you can decide between those. You can decide what food you want to eat. And here's a big word for you. So analyze is when you kind of look at something, you make some decisions about it, some conclusions about it, and you decide how you feel about something, or how you decide what the information is giving to you if you're analyzing it. So that kind of connects with that as well. So those are your words for our new story, Jellies. You can use this to review for our celebration, as well as just to keep working with and learning these words, as well as continue working through them throughout the week. All right, have a great rest of your day, friends.